Hello, welcome to this tutorial. In this video, I'll be explaining how we analyze corporate merger. All right, this is when one company decides to acquire another company. All right, those we call them as corporate mergers. So without wasting much of time, I really want to explain what really happens to the earnings per share of a firm after the merger, and then what will be the firm A's price per share if the market incorrectly analyzes that the PE ratio will not change, meaning the PE ratio will remain the same as was previously. Okay. Again, I'm going to also discuss the market share price of the firm after the merger. All right. So let's get through to work. We see how this works out. Corporate merger, firm A and firm B. We can see it has been analyzed that the total earnings for firm A is 9,000 kwacha, and that of firm B is 9,000 kwacha. Shares outstanding is 5,500 for firm A, 2,200 for firm B. Price per share currently it's 400 kwacha per share of firm A and 150 for firm B. Assume firm A acquires firm B via an exchange of stock at a price of 200 for each share of B's stock. Now this is firm A acquiring firm B using a share exchange, valuing the shares of stock B not at the current price of 150 but at 200, and then we are assuming that both A and B have no debt outstanding. What will EPS? What will be? All right, let me just correct this. What will be EPS of firm A after the merger? All right. So we want to know what the EPS for firm A will be after the merger. All right. Secondly, what will be the firm A's price per share if the market incorrectly analyzes that the PE ratio will remain constant, will not change. Okay. Then lastly, we'll look at what is the market price of the share for firm A after the merger. All right. So here we are again. This is a simple thing. So to begin with, solution A or solution 1. Solution 1 here, we want to find what the earnings per share will be of firm A after the merger. So now we begin with first to analyze really what will be the number of total shares after the acquisition or the merger with firm B. Okay, so the first thing we do is to basically look at the value of these shares if they are going to be exchanged at 200. What is the total value of these shares in terms of the current price that A is offering B? All right. So value of shares in B, okay, will be the number of shares is 2,200, and the offer is that of a 200 kwacha per share. So I'll do this multiplied by 200 per share, and then I have 22 multiplied by 200, that's 440. That's the value, 440,000. Okay. Now we want to know in this value how many shares of A can come out from this particular value, so that we add to this share, so that we can see now the total number of shares. So this is how it is going to look like. In simple terms, we're simply saying one share of A is equal to 400 kwacha. So it's 400 kwacha per share. Now we're going to get this value, which is 440. We want to see this value, then how many shares of A can come out of this value. Alright, so we will say 440,000 x there. Okay, we cross multiply quickly. We have 400x is equal to 1 multiplied by that, 440,000. Alright, 400 here, 400 that side. We have x now being 440,000 divided by 400. Okay, we have 1,100 shares in terms of A. We know each share of A, the current market price is that. And then we are saying in this value, how many shares if each, if the current market price is that. So that's 1,100. So now we know the shares that are going to come out of this value, which is that of B. So now we are going to add with the existing shares, number of shares, which is 5,500. So we're going to say total number of shares after the merger, number of shares after merger is 5,500 plus 1,100, which gives us 6,000. 1,100 is this one, the 5,500 is that one. So 6,600 what shares here. Okay, 6,600 shares there. So now what's going to happen here is we need to find the earnings per share. So we also need total earnings now, meaning I'm going to combine the earnings for firm A and from firm B. Total earnings will be 9,000 kwacha plus 6,000 kwacha, which gives me 15,000 kwacha. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, 15,000 kwacha. So the EPS, earnings per share after merger, is basically total earnings over number of shares. Earnings per share is total earnings, which is 15,000 kwacha divided by the total number of shares, 6,600. All right, 15,000 divided by 6,600, we have 2.27. 2.27 kwacha per share. That's the earnings per share. 2.27. Now from here, we've dealt with A. Now we can go to solution 2. Solution 2, what is the examiner looking for? The examiner is looking for the share price if the assumption remains that the PE ratio will not change. So let's calculate the PE ratio for firm A. PE ratio is just like there, that's price over earnings per share. Okay, so I need to get my earnings per share. Earnings per share. The earnings per share for firm A is 9,000 kwacha divided by number of shares, which is 5,500. Okay, 9,000 divided by 5. I have 1.636, 1.636 like that, and then PE ratio is just price over earnings per share. So the price is 400 over earnings per share, which is 1.636. So the PE ratio is 400 divided by 1.636. I have 244, which is quite high. 50 as the PE ratio. With this PE ratio now, which we are assuming that it will not change, with this PE ratio now, we can go on to analyze what the share price is, assuming the PE ratio does not change. All right, there we go. All right, so share price, assuming constant PE ratio, we'll just say PE ratio is equal to price over earnings per share. Okay, so we know the PE ratio is 244. Where this PE ratio there, I'll put 244.50. The price, that's what we are looking at, share price. We are looking at share price, the top part, but we have the earnings per share, which is that 1.636. With this, we can cross multiply to get the share price. Okay, this will be 244.5 multiplied by 1.636, granting us 244.50 multiplied by 1.636, giving us a share price of 400. Okay, giving us a share price of 400. Sorry, just a mistake. What we are assuming that is remaining constant is the earnings per share. So with that in mind, I need to use the new earnings per share. Sorry about that we just calculated. We've just calculated the new earnings per share. So I'm substituting this with a new earnings per share, which is 2.27, which we calculated. Sorry for that. Okay, so looks like I jumped a step. 244. What we're just assuming that is remaining the same is the PE ratio based on the old earnings per share. Okay, so we are assuming the PE ratio is remaining constant based on the original. Okay, so the PE ratio is that one. Now we get this PE ratio and attach it to new earnings per share because it has been incorrectly analyzed. Okay, so that will be 244.50 multiplied by 2.27. There we go. We've got 5. This is the correct answer now. 55.02 kwacha. We've dealt with this part. Now we can finish the last part where we are basically looking at the market share price of FEMA after the merger. This is pretty very simple. This is what we're going to do. Okay. It's pretty very simple. So this is what we're going to do. We are simply going to say new market share price. Market share price. We'll basically look at the market value of the shares. So market value of the shares. Market value. All right. So we have 5,500 multiplied by 400, and then we have 2,200 multiplied by the market price there, 150. This will be 5,500 multiplied by 400 will be 2,200,000 kwacha here, and then 22 multiplied by 150, we have 330,000 kwacha. So together we have 530,000. Okay, that's the total value. So to find the market the market share price, or the value per share will simply be market value, total market value, which is 2,530,000 over number of shares, which is 6,600. Remember the 5,500 and the 1,100. So now we have that 2,530 divided by 6,600. Okay, we have 383.33 per share. Thank you. That's the end of the tutorial for today. Thank you so much.